This video is of a real driving test taken in Nuneaton, January 2024, and it's a new test route added for this year. Following DVSA rules, I've had to delete the original soundtrack. However, we can follow the specific route taken by the learner driver. Do you think she passed or failed the test? Please leave your comments in the section below. So we're on Vernon's Lane, and as we're facing away from the roundabout down towards the bend that takes you into Beaumont Road. Always start the tests that way because it's just easier, and it means that the first couple of roads the learner on the test will always kind of know where they're going to go. They'll go around the bend and down Beaumont Road, which is where we're at now, and they'll have to turn left because there's no other way out of Beaumont Road, obviously. So looking here, we can see that we're in a traffic queue already, and that's down to the temporary lights, which if you look down the line, the cars have already started to move forward. So let's see if she gets through these lights first time. It'd be very handy if she does, because, you know, we can get on with it then, really, can't we? There's two lots of lights here, which is a bit weird for even for Nuneaton, with all of their traffic, all their road works. Even for Nuneaton, it's a bit weird. But anyway, it didn't quite get through. So let's see if she stops well back from the light there, leaving lots of room for people to get through. And yes, she has. So she's got off to a good start, really, you know. And we'll just wait for these lights to change, and then we can carry on, can't we? Shouldn't take too long. Shouldn't take too long. As she does move forward, we will eventually be turning left into Countess Road. Okay, so let's just see what happens. Obviously, the traffic, the opposite traffic, the oncoming traffic, is just coming through now. So yeah. So they've come through. That would suggest that our lights are about to change and go to amber and then green. And let's see if that happens fairly quickly. There you go. So she's got off to a nice start there, didn't stall. So no kind of test nerves kicking in or anything like that. So that's always a good thing. Get those couple of stops and starts out the way on the test, and it's always a good thing, you know, don't stall, and so you can kind of settle yourself in to what you're doing. So we're going to be turning left here into Countess Road. Now these test routes are specific routes that the DVSA have to follow, or the examiners have to follow, and they set out specific routes so that they can make everyone's test you know, more equal, more of a level playing field, so that, you know, everyone's test is more or less similar. I'm going to get to the end of Countess Road and we'll be turning left. This is the end of the road, so she'll be creeping up, looking and creeping out. And on this one in particular, is a good thing to make sure that the back wheel doesn't clip the curb. And we've moved into Earls Road now. And Earls Road is a bit of a hill at this point, so the examiner's going to pull her in. There you go. She stopped short of the dropped curb, which is fantastic, or the driveway, and now she's going to do a hill start. So let's just see if she can manage to do this hill start without rolling back at all. There's the handbrake went on just there. I don't know if you noticed that. So she'll be looking round. Very nice, actually, very, very nice. No hint of a roll back there. So that's good. And now she'll be dealing with this oncoming car, which has actually moved in. And so she's going by. She's taking it nice and slow through this kind of space here because, you know, less space, less speed. So she's doing, I think, very, very well up to this point. As we know, Earls Road has this bend in it, and it's always a bit blind, but today there's no traffic coming. And she'll be turning right next. She'll be taking the next road on the right. She's on Earls Road, gone round the bend, and then we're going to turn right just here. So let's just have a look. Right, okay, so there's a car there, and she's waited, and then she's gone. Now, do you think she could have dealt with that better, or did she do exactly the right thing there? You can please let me know in the comments. So we're on Manor Park Road now. Manor Park Road's quite straight and long, and again the examiner is going to ask her to pull in and park. And this time he'll be saying pull in and park on the left. He'll be saying don't worry about the dropped curb just in this instance, just for this. Just going to do a angled start here. So she's parked over the driveway, but the examiner has said to her, that's okay, don't worry about that. And now she's going to drive on, and again, going to make sure that she gets well out in good time, and so she misses this. Is that a Range Rover? Please don't hit that. There you go, and away you go. So she's dealt with that also very nicely. Did you notice that she waited until the car from behind went past, and then she went into the space? Always better in the space behind. Always get in behind if you can. When we get at the end of this road, Manor Park Road, then we're going to turn right into Manor Court Road. Okay. So Manor Court Road is quite a busy one compared to the ones we've been on so far. So very often you do have to wait here for a few seconds. So we've gone from Manor Park Road, and we're turning right at the end into Manor Court Road. It's difficult to tell from the video if there's any cars coming, but there we go. There's your answer. I think we should wait for that one, really. Usually when there's a slow-moving vehicle, that creates a little bit of a traffic queue, doesn't it, sometimes? 3 or 4 cars behind it, so... And there we go, there's one. Let's just see, is she going to move out? Yeah, there you go. So we've now come into Manor Court Road, and we're heading towards the mini roundabout at Sainsbury's. And when we get there, she'll be turning left into Queen's Road. At this point, she'll be looking not just at the crossing and not just at the roundabout itself, but further up the road, as far as, looking up to where the bridge is that goes over the, is it a canal or a train? Canal, goes over the canal. And she'll be trying to time her approach so that she can move in into a gap without stopping. Let's see if she manages to do that. Certainly she's still moving, and there you go, she's found her space. Is she going to go for it? No, there's a couple of cars coming round to the turning right from ahead, so she's waiting for those, so that's good. I think she's dealing with this absolutely fine. And there you go, and in she goes. So she's found the space. And this has brought us now into Queen's Road, past the school on the right. I don't know what that school's called. But we know as we go down Queen's Road, at some point, it'll turn into a 20-mile-an-hour zone. And it's by the Cooper's Caff, just down there. So again, we're in a bit of a traffic queue, and it, part of this is the kind of time of the day, isn't it? There was an 8 o'clock test, or 8-ish test, and so it's always going to be a little bit busier at that time of the day. As we come down Queen's Road, the examiner now will start to ask her to follow the signs for somewhere, and he'll start off by asking her to follow the signs for the Ring Road South. But that's not quite yet. She's got to get a little way down the road here. Now she does make a mistake on Queen's Road, and I just want you, I just see if you can spot what it is. It's quite obvious when you see it. I don't know if you'll notice it, but it is there. Anyway, here we are, just following this traffic down here. This is always a little bit of a bonus if on the test there's traffic cues, really, because it just slows everything down and it allows you just to have a little think about, what to do next, and and to kind of just settle your nerves down. And here's where he says, follow the signs for Ring Road South. So there's two types of independent driving, isn't there, on a driving test? You can either follow the sat nav, which is I think is the most common one, or it seems to be from my kind of experience, or you can follow the signs for somewhere. And they both last about 20 minutes or 20 odd minutes of the test, and this is going to be no exception. So she's going to get to follow the signs for Ring Road South as she goes along Queen's Road. The mistake hasn't happened yet, by the way, but you'll see it when she does. There you go. So we can see all the traffic still flowing, and away she goes. I did think about editing this bit out, but and I thought, well, let's see the test as it really is, and not an edited down version. So you'll see the whole test. There we go. Sometimes this is to do with, because school run time. There's quite a few pedestrian crossings on Queen's Road, isn't there? And that means that the traffic will be a little bit stop and start, no matter how much there is, really. Seems to be moving a little freer now. There's your 20 signs just outside Cooper's Calf, 20 zones, and gone past that. So we're now in the 20 zone on Queen's Road, but there's no chance of getting anywhere near that, is there, at the moment? Just coming up to a pedestrian crossing now, which is going on to green. So it may be that we'll be moving on quite soon. Over the crossing, speed bump on it as well, just to reinforce that there's a crossing there. And yeah, so the traffic seems to be flowing a little nicer. Keep the keep clear. Yes, kept the keep clear. That's good. And yeah, we're just following the road down here. See if you can spot the signs where for Ring Road South. It's quite near the end of the road, actually. Past Lidl. The thing with Lidl is, it's very difficult to walk into Lidl, isn't it? Because you have to go past the bakery bit, and it's just full of just really nice pastries and things. So, gotta avoid Lidl if I can. Really nice. She's managed to drive past Lidl without nipping into the pastry bit and just inside the door there, so that's good news as well. And we're going to follow this road then down. Now we're following the signs for Ring Road South, And you'll know if you're local that when you get to these lights down here is the ring road that goes around Nuneaton town centre. And just on the sign there, we can see it says Ring Road South, and that's on the right. So you can see that she's moved into the right-hand lane. So the lights are on green. We've managed to get to the end of Queen's Road. The traffic should flow a little better now, and we'll be turning right here. And this is called Jubilee Way that we're turning into now. There you go. And now she's being asked to follow the signs for the M6. Now at this point on the signs, the M6 will be in brackets. And what that means is that this road is not the M6, but this is the way to the M6. So where you see on signs or on road markings, it's the name or the number, like M6 is in brackets, it means if you follow this road, you'll eventually end up at the M6 or wherever. If it's not in brackets, that means you're actually on that road. So if they do get to the M6, which they're not going to because it's a driving test, and you see a sign again, it won't be in brackets. So we know that the M6 is off towards Coventry, isn't it, from here? And it's right at the roundabout. And you'll see on the sign there, it's a bit difficult to tell, but on the sign there, well, the previous sign, it said M6 is right. It's the third exit off of this roundabout coming up. This roundabout's quite busy, actually. I call it the rope walk roundabout. I don't know if anybody else does, but it's just easy for people to remember. It's quite a busy one. This crossing is also reasonably busy as well. So let's see. No, it stayed green. That's fantastic. But it just turned as she went over. How do you think the lights just turned to amber as she went over? How do you think the examiner will have seen that? I've said it's very busy, but actually, right, there you go. There is something coming around. When she moves in, she's going to get onto the inner lane next to the island and follow that around. She's looking now for a space or a blocker. And it's usually on this one, it's going to be a blocker that helps you get through. And that's exactly what happened. And now she's sticking nice and close to the island, and she's staying exactly in her lane. And this is the third exit, and off she comes onto the left. So all of that was actually very good. We're now on Coton Road. We know that Coton Road, as we can see from the sign, is a 40-mile-an-hour road just as you pass this sign. So we can get a little bit of make a bit of progress. And you can see that she's sped up. She's noticed that and she's sped up. Now to get to the M6, you will need to change lanes. And actually, there's no signs to tell her that. So the examiner just said, you know, you'll need to be in the right-hand lane. And I think that's okay. That's fair, isn't it? Because if you wait until you get right to here, you can be in lots of traffic and be very, very difficult to get over. As you come along here, these two lanes will split into four, two each. And there's a sign for those as well. So let's just see where she goes. And that's brilliant. She's got herself into the left-hand option. If you look on the road there, you can see it says it's the A444, not in brackets, M6 in brackets. That means we're on the A444 and it's on the way to the M6. This is your Coton Arches roundabout, but some people call it the hamburger roundabout. Excuse me. Excuse me again as well. So whichever it is, you'll find on this test route that we go past this Coton Arches roundabout twice and the Griff roundabout twice as well. And there's been a little bit of discussion around, you know, as driving instructors to say that they're not using the Griff roundabout as much. And I think it goes in waves. So sometimes they go there quite a lot and then not, and they find other places and they, you know, create new test routes. But this one is taking us past the Coton Arches roundabout twice and the Griff twice. So do keep practicing that. This hill is called Chilvers Rise. No, I didn't know either. There's no, I didn't see any signs. I had to look that up. So Chilvers Rise is what this is called. And we're going up to the roundabout where the Banana Bridge is now. And we should go under the Banana Bridge because that will be the way to the M6. So it's following the road ahead at this roundabout, taking the second exit. And again, should be looking for a space or a blocker at this point to be able to get in. And yep, so she's having to pause. That's why there's a few cars coming round. As soon as a blocker appears, she'll be able to move forward. And this is quite a hill, so let's see again if there's any rollback at all. No, that's brilliant. She managed to move off very, very nicely there. She's got a good position on the roundabout and she's coming off on the left-hand lane. So everything about that was good. So no problem there. And again, we can see we're on Griff Way now. So we went under the bridge, under the Banana Bridge, onto Griff Way. And we're heading towards the hospital here now, the George Eliot Hospital. But we're not going into that, obviously. We're still heading towards the M6. And that's straight ahead. It's the second exit on this roundabout, the first being the services. So we're staying on the main road. There's a nice blocker. Did you see the van? That was a blocker for us. And so she's used that and carried on. So that's good as well. So she's got these roundabouts down pat, actually very, very nicely done. Griff Way, as we know, is a 50 road. And she's just getting a little bit of speed up now to keep up with the road. When we get to the end of Griff Way, is the Griff Island, and she's been, or Griff Bermuda Island, some people call it, and she's been asked now to follow the signs for Bedworth, which is the B4113. Very busy on the opposite side of the road there, so lots of people coming into Nuneaton for their work on that day. Trying to remember what day it was. I think it was a Tuesday, pretty sure. Anyway, we're now coming towards the Griff Island, and she's going towards Bedworth, the B4113. So she's got into the lane, the left-hand lane that says Bed on it, so that's fantastic. The lights are on red, which again is a little bit of a bonus because it just allows her to stop and have a little think and think about which lane she needs to go in. Now the thing about this is if you stay in the left lane here, you will end up a hilltop. So at some point as you get into the roundabout, you need to look for where it says Bed on the road. And there'll be two lanes that say Bed. You're always best to pick the left-hand one. So let's see what she does. So the left lane is not the one that she's going to use. And so she's just moved into the Bed lane and she's driving over the word Bed. There you go. And it means she's not going to go into Hilltop and she will end up going towards Bedworth on the B4113. As we get into this is Coventry Road as it goes into Bedworth. But she's going to be asked to turn right into the Premier Inn car park. And there she goes. You can see she's slowing down. Premier Inn car park's on the right, and she's moving forward. And then around. So in the Premier Inn car park here, she's now going to be asked to do a reverse bay park. So the examiner will say reverse into a bay on the right or the left, basically. Now she does something quite wise here, I think, and I don't see many people do this, and I don't quite know why, because there's absolutely no problem with it. As long as you're looking around and making sure that it's all clear, why not just position your car so it's easier when you get into the reversing part of things? And this is what she's doing here. So she's moved up to where there's lots of spaces, and she's kept, a little gap from the spaces that she's going to reverse into. And now she's positioned the car, so even when she starts to reverse, she's already at a nice angle to do that. Starting to go backwards. She's finding her bay. Oh, that was a stall. Did you see that? That was a stall. So she's going to get moving again in a few seconds. There we go. She's moving back. She's positioned the car for the bay, and now she's going to start to go back in a straight line and see if she can get within the lines. If she doesn't feel she's in the lines, you're quite at liberty to move forward like this, to shunt forward and back a bit, just to get yourself in the line. As long as the caveat to that obviously is you must also be looking around all the time and making sure there's no one coming towards you. And also you need to control the car very, very slowly like she is doing. So this looks a bit convoluted, and she's moving back and forth a couple of times, but I have to tell you, she didn't fail on this. So if you leave in your comments, she definitely, in the comments section below the video, or she would have definitely failed for that uh, bay park, you're wrong. She didn't. Okay, so that's that. She should get into the bay soon. There we go. We're going back nicely into the bay now. It looks like we're in. It's always worth practicing this. If you can get into this car park and practice these maneuvers in here, because on the way out of the car park, it's not easy to get back onto the Coventry Road. It's not easy because there's, as you move up there, you end up on quite the gradient. And if you look to your left, or if you look to your right, sorry, it's very difficult to see what's coming down the road. So you have to get right up to the line. And also, you're kind of facing the wrong way a little bit as well. Your car's angled the wrong way. So there's a few degrees of difficulty there. And if you look at this picture, you can see it's almost facing away from the way that she wants to go. She'll be turning left back onto Coventry Road here, and that will take her back to the Griff Island, where she'll be asked to follow the signs for Hilltop. All the way round. That's it. Follow the signs for Hilltop. And if you know this roundabout, you'll know that it's kind of the last exit on the right. I always say to people on this roundabout, don't count the junctions off. Don't count the exits off. So if you're asked to take the 5th exit, for instance, don't bother counting them off. Look for your signs on the road, your road markings, and follow those, because it's a spiral roundabout, and that will take you to where you want to go. So we can say it says H top on the road there, and the hatch markings are moving us out. She's moved it out very, very nicely. All you need to do, don't count the exits off, just follow where it says H top on the road, or wherever it is that you're going. We went to Bedworth early and it said bed. Just follow that and trust that to take you around the roundabout and find the exit for you. This will give you less to do. You'll be able to see more of what's going on in front of you and around you, or you'll be able to concentrate anyway more on that, which is perhaps more important, and really important to stay within your lane. And you'll see here that as she moves off, the lane goes further and further out, and it's quite easy to cut over the lane on the inside there, but she's managed not to do that and stayed well away from it. And it's taken a H-top again, and it's taken it all the way round and off the roundabout towards Hilltop. So on those spiral roundabouts, just find your lane and stay in it, and just trust the road to take you where you want to go. We're now in Coventry Road, coming back into Nuneaton towards Hilltop, and there you go. So this is a 50 road, isn't it? Doesn't look to me like she's quite made it up to 50 yet. Oh, there you go. She's got a little bit of a spurt on, and we're maybe at around 50 now, so that's good. On these kinds of roads, you do need to kind of make progress, really. You want to show that you're confident about that, and actually going at a quicker speed is no big deal for you. It's just that's what the road is, so that's what you'll do. I'm going to climb the hill here. So we've come around the Griff Island towards Hilltop, and we're going along now Coventry Road, taking us back in towards Nuneaton. And at the top of this hill, as we know, there's a 30 sign. There it is. So you'll see the car slow down. There it goes. It's slowed right down to the 30. And she's being asked now to follow the road ahead. By the way, she's no longer following signs. Now the examiner is, directing her as to where to go. She's slowed right down for this roundabout. She's looking for, again, a space or a blocker. This oncoming red car, that's a blocker. That's stopping everything else from moving. So she's used that. And now she'll be asked to pull in and park on the left along here. They use these sorts of roads to pull in and pull off because they're busy, because they're busier. They're not that busy that you can't get out, but they're busy enough so that you have to look and make sure that it's safe to move, and you have to look over that right shoulder into your blind spot, and away she goes. So she's dealt with that very nicely as well. She's let all the traffic go by her, and then she's used the space behind. Always use the space behind if you can find it. Along Coventry Road down the hill, this is quite a steep hill. It's quite easy to allow the car just to drift over the 30 here, because it's a lot steeper than it looks on the video. Such a nice day. You can tell it's January, can't you? Anyway, we're moving out here, and we're going to get to the end, and this is where we're going to go back to the Coton Arches roundabout. Just to let you know, on this channel, which is Drive Wizard, on this channel there is a video specifically about the Griff Island, and there's one about Coton Arches as well. So I get quite good feedback from those videos, so it's always, if you want to, you can have a look there. I'll leave a link to both of those in the description. Again, we're in a little bit of a traffic queue here, and is it temporary roadworks, or is it just the time of day and its volume of traffic? I think it's more likely to be volume of traffic. You do very often see a traffic queue from this direction coming up to the Coton Arches roundabout, or Hamburger about. Anyway, the guy in front of us, he's got his foot on the foot brake, as we can see. You can see his brake lights are on, and you see that from quite a lot of people, don't you, really? And when the car in front of him moves, then he takes his foot off the foot brake and then moves on, because he can't move on with his foot, with being braking as well. So if you're in behind a van like this and you can't see what's happening ahead of you, that's a good clue, isn't it? So he can see, I'm going to assume it's a he can see, and when he gets a chance to move, he'll need to take his foot off the brake, and then he'll move, and that's exactly what just happened there. So that's a clue that could be a clue to you, as to say, well, actually, now is my time to move on as well. So we are moving a little bit, you know, we're inching forward, creeping forward, aren't we, up to the actual island itself. And it will take maybe 2-3 minutes to get there. Not 3 minutes, probably a couple of minutes to get there, really. Okay. Again, you can see he's got his foot on the foot brake, and you'll see the brake light go out, and then he'll move forward. Just because I said that, there you go, and then he'll move forward. He must have heard me. He can hear me, can't he? The junction on the left there, so hopefully, and I know that she does, she'll stop so that she can leave that junction open, and that's great. Now we're getting closer and closer to the Coton Arches, or the Arches roundabout now. She's going to make a judgment to say that she can get a whole car past the junction, and that's when she'll start to move. Also, can you see from this far back, from a little further back, that you can see more of what the traffic is doing? So that's another little tip, isn't it? If you can hold back just that little bit more, so you can see what's happening ahead, then you'll get a better view, and you'll be able to move forward. And there she goes. She should move forward now. She definitely get a whole car over. That's brilliant. There you go. That's brilliant. Oh, there's a little bit of speed. That's it. That's brilliant there. On your right, there's like a little island, like a little reservation in the centre of the road. It's not an official crossing, and but we shouldn't block that up because it is kind of where people cross. So she's made sure she's gone past that. That's good. And now we're going to be turning left at this Coton Arches roundabout. And that's the A444 south, but that's not what he said. He just said turn left, taking the first exit on the roundabout. And that's going to take us back up that hill again, which is called Chilvers Way. Who knew? Nobody. I don't know where you'd find that. Well, I looked on the internet to find out what it was called. Not quite sure why she's not moving here. Not quite sure. It's almost like she's waited for the lights. So how do you think the examiner will have seen that little incident there? Think that would have been a minor or a major fault? Just leave your comments. So we're back on now on Chilvers Rise, not Way, Chilvers Rise, and she'll be asked to turn right at the roundabout. This is quite a busy one, isn't it? This roundabout, it's Banana Bridge roundabout, quite a busy one. She'll be asked to turn right, so at some point she'll need to change lanes. And it looks to me like she's waiting for a gap, and there she goes. She's going to move in behind this van. And just moving up to the island itself. We can see that the lead car is moving on, and she's had to stop, and she's going to do a nice hill start. No roll back there as well. She's looking for a space or a blocker, and yep, there's a nice space, so she's going to move in. It is normally a busy roundabout, so she's done that very, very well. Third exit then. This one here's the second, going under the bridge, and we want to get into the third one, and off she comes. This is College Street, and we're going down the hill. Oh, someone undertook us there. Going down the hill. This is where College Street turns into what they call the Bull Ring, but I didn't put that down because we're going to turn right here just immediately at this roundabout here. And again, as always, never get tired of saying it, looking for a space or a blocker. I'm going to try and keep the traffic flowing. There you go, she's seen the space, and in we go. And here we are on Greenmoor Road, and that's this road's quite a long road. It's quite a long downhill stretch, quite busy, as you can see from the traffic on the opposite side of the road there. Quite busy, and very easy, long straight bit here. Very easy to take the car over the 30, and I would always advise against that, because just at the bottom of the hill There's a very nasty speed camera that likes to take your photo. So I know that she's aware of that, and although we do look like we're moving quite quickly compared to the traffic on the opposite side, we're actually not. We're well under the 30, and we're just going to follow this down here now. Go past the school on the right, past the school on the left, and just there you can see, just coming into view is the speed camera, and you'll see on the road it's got like lines on the road, which would suggest that that's the bit of the road that the camera's looking at. That's the range, and that's where you're going to get your photo took. And again, we're pulling in on the left, and again, just to move on again. So you do pull up and move on a few times through the test, and always it's to see if you will wait for the space, not move in front of people, and that you'll check your blind spot, which is over your right shoulder, before you move off. And you must remember those two things. And then when you do get going, then you've got to get back up to the speed of the road as briskly as is reasonable. When we get to the end of the road here, we're turning right. It's a roundabout. Now this is a roundabout, which would suggest second, but it's at the end of the road and it's quite busy. So she's dropped it into first, and she's creeping up, and she's looking, and she's creeping out, and that was perfect. So that was very, very good. This bit is called Queen's Road as well, by the way, which I didn't know. Again, when I looked it up, there you are. I thought it was Croft something. But no, it's Queen's Road, and we've turned left here now into Tompkinson Road. And yeah, everyone knows Tompkinson Road. It's a 20-mile-an-hour zone. It's quite long. There's lots of speed bumps along it, and it's quite narrow this end as well. Past the zebra crossing, nobody walking towards that, so we're fine there. She's going a little quick over that speed bump, so I'm not too happy about that because my car's got to last me. Okay, but anyway, there we go. So we're coming along here, Tompkinson Road, and shortly she'll be turning right at the next mini roundabout. Now this mini roundabout is really ridiculous. There's not room for it here, and I don't know why they put it in. They didn't move the curbs out or anything like that. So if you do clip it like she has done, it's not the end of the world, and it's much safer to do that than to go too far out. And they even put posts up there, so it makes it virtually impossible for you to get around without clipping that. So over more speed bumps. We're on Barpool Road now, so we've been on Tompkinson Road. We've turned right into Barpool Road. So Greenmore, at the end turn right into Queen's Road, then left into Tompkinson, and then right again into Barpool Road, and it's bringing us right up now to back to Vernon's Lane. As we come up here, she's been asked now to turn right at the roundabout, which is she's going to do. Yeah, good. She's seen the taxi. That's fantastic. And is there a space in behind? No, she doesn't think so yet. But there it is. I'm going to move forward and around there as well. So we're back now into Vernon's Lane, and she'll be asked to pull in and park on the left, where she'll get the results of her test. So what do you think? Do you think she passed, or do you think she failed? And what do you think to that test route as well? That's a new test route for 2024. There's going to be more of these test routes come back up onto the channel, and hopefully you'll get some benefit from them. Well, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully you'll get some use out of it. Cheers.